I'm wondering, why do you think Mr. Poilievre's housing message is resonating over your government's message?
I'm not going to agree with the premise of your question, obviously.
I'm so cute.
But let me just say this. Housing is a key issue for Canadians. We get that. And we understand, we talk about the cost of living challenge. Groceries are part of it. But at the end of the day, housing is such a big part of it. If people have a home that they can afford,
so far she's been talking
secure
for
and safe place
40
to live,
seconds. Garbage.
everything else in their life works. So we completely understand.
They completely understand. It was their 2015 PM campaign. Housing for all, affordable housing, solving the housing crisis. 2015.
That this is a challenge for Canadians.
It's a challenge for Canadians.
And our message to Canadians is,
give us another 3 years when we run an election. We'll do it then. Natives, you'll get clean drinking water in the next 3 years. That was one of their other 2015 election promises. Housing 2015, 2018, 2019, 2021, and then all of a sudden, housing is a provincial issue, not a federal issue.
we are there to speak to the challenge and to act on the challenge.
Verbal diarrhea.
It is
Verbal diarrhea coming out of a human anus.
a really steep hill for us to climb as a country. And it's a steep hill for us to climb, partly because, as Sean was saying in his opening remarks, this is not a challenge that started yesterday.
No, it was one that you started tackling when you were elected, not you, Chrystia Freeland, the Liberals in 2015. 2015.
For decades now, governments in Canada have not been building affordable housing and supporting the building of affordable housing. We are changing that. And the second thing is, and this, as finance minister, I see as a huge advantage for Canada, we're a growing country. That's a good thing. Every other wealthy industrialized nation in the world, when they look at their economy, one of the first problems they see is a demographic challenge.
Do you know why it's a growing country? Talked about it yesterday. Opening up the border is a great way to become a growing country, not a great way to increase GDP. It might actually have a net negative impact on GDP. Open the border to immigrants who are not necessarily financially contributing to the ecosystem of the country that has just brought them in. It's not a good thing. But yeah, it's growing, right? 97% of the growth is immigration.
Because Canada is one of the few countries that is open to immigration, that is less of a challenge for us. That's a great thing.
Of course, if flooding a house is not a challenge, just open the front door.
A growing country needs to build more homes. And that...
With what? Unicorn farts and fairy wings? You need to build more homes. You need to have a working society that contributes. Because there's not endless tax dollars you can squeeze out of the people who are willingly going to stay in that country. Yeah, you're letting people in en masse who are not necessarily contributing to GDP. So while GDP might be going up as a raw number, it's going down per capita.
That's why we have policies that are about supply.
Of what
and we
exactly?
have been going at it aggressively. Let's look at what we've done just this fall alone. Lifting the GST on purpose-built rental, which, by the way, the Conservatives are opposed to doing.
We're going to stop. This is yet another example of a government that is incompetent, creating problems, and then in order to resolve those problems, we got population problems, open the border. Well, now we've got GDP problems. I don't know, tax more, print more cash. Oh my goodness. Can't believe the corruption with the top 5 Liberals. Nothing happens to them, so top cops and judges must be all working together, breaking law. Nothing happens. Unfriggin' believe. It just goes on for 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Why is Pierre Poilievre's housing proposals resonating better than the Liberals? Because you guys have been in power for 8 years now and have done jack squat. I mean, you all know this. The Liberal housing plan. Justin Trudeau pledges new funding for affordable housing, people. It's an amazing thing when you have a memory because you've lived through it. Justin Trudeau pledges new funding for affordable housing, tax breaks for developers. The reality is that too many Canadians cannot afford to buy a house, the Liberal leader said. Oh, when was this published? Yesterday? No. September 2015. Look at how young Satan was back then. He was so wet behind the ears. He hadn't yet sold his soul. He still looks like he has a bit of a soul left in his horrible, evil, corrupt body. Okay, people. Good evening.